good morning, and welcome to BHC today. I'm Pastor Dave. It's Monday, and we're going to have a Monday moment together. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about image and images. You see on our very simple set here, you actually see, I believe, three images of me. One is the image that's speaking directly into the camera. Another image is an image that is reflection in a mirror of me speaking into the camera. And then there's this third image that was taken as a portrait of me in 2001 here at Bellevue Heights Church. Three different images, but all that reflect who I am physically. I am faced with that image quite a bit every day, several times a day. I look into the mirror. Sometimes I look in the mirror and in shock, I say, "Oh, it's you again." But other times I look and I say, "Hey, good looking," or some variation on a theme. But we're confronted with our physical image all the time. And as you know, it tends to change over the years. 50 years ago, I had a full head of hair. None of this was white or gray or salt and pepper. 50 years ago, there was a fairly slender face. 50 years ago, there was less of me. 50 years ago, there was a very thin face, I think, thinner than it is. And so it has changed over the years, the physical image of who I am. As I get older, some think I look like my dad's, others think I look like uncles, others think maybe grandpa on my mom's side. But the image is what it is, and it does change through time. The Bible speaks about image and images. And let me read, if I may, from Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all creatures that move along the ground." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. God created man, male and female, in his own image. Now, does that mean that we look physically like God? Well, there's a lot of different debates on that question. But the image of God that I believe we're made in was that eternal capacity to live forever and that eternal capacity to love and experience love as God is love by complete dependence on him. Sadly, something happened to that image. When Adam and Eve, man and woman, the original man and woman, decided they wanted to be like God. They wanted to be independent of God. They wanted to make their own decisions. They wanted to be wise in their own eyes. Something very bad happened, and the image of God left man. We were no longer like him. Yes, we had the capacity spiritually to experience him. At the same time, we no longer were that by nature. We had a fallen nature. And so the image changed until Jesus came, who was the very image of God himself. Love personified in a human being. And thanks be to God for that. As we have been invited to follow Jesus, our image changes. Our image changes no matter what we may look like physically. As we follow Jesus, he makes us more like himself by his Spirit. That eternal love begins to capture our hearts and our lives from the inside out, making us more like that image of God that originally man was created to be. The image of God through Jesus Christ becomes your image, becomes my image, as we live in total dependency on him and his love in and through us. What a remarkable privilege to be restored to what God intended in the first place, and that is to have the image of God in us, to be living in fellowship with him, dependent on him, him living in and through us. That is the image of God. That is the image of God he has for you today, for me today. It's not the image that I see in a mirror or reflections or a portrait, but it's an image that is expressed in attitude, in deeds, in expression, in love, in that which we know a person, not because of how they look, but because they conduct themselves in life. When God's love pours from within them outside and draws us to them as that person is drawn to Christ. The image of God. There was a hymn that I learned as a child, and it was, "Oh, to be like thee, oh, to be like thee, blessed Redeemer, pure as thou art, come in thy weakness, come in thy fullness, and stamp thine own image deep on my heart." Excuse me, I missed one word. Come in thy fullness, or come in thy meekness, come in thy fullness, and stamp thine own image deep on my heart. Friends, today, the image of God that is manifest in your life and my life is that eternal image that's going to last forever. That image that's not going to have anything to do with this mortal body that keeps changing and eroding and getting a little bit more of whatever it's getting, but it's that image of Christ that has been born into me, that changes the character of who you are and who I am, that lasts in eternity, that will just transcend, that would just go right through our death into the next world as his image is stamped in our hearts, stamped in our spirit, stamped in our life. So it's great to see you, my friends. May his image be stamped in your heart today, and may that image be manifest to everyone you see today as they experience God when they experience you. God bless you.